Hello, my people. Good day to you, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whatever time zone you're listening to this, thank you for tuning in every single day to listen to me on Daily Mind Shifts. My name is Michael Ujola for Mindset Transformation Africa. And on today's episode, I want us to talk about change. Let me anchor today's episode on this statement. One way or another, you're going to change. Why not change intentionally? By choice. One way or another, you're going to change. You're going to change. So why not change intentionally by choice? That is what I want us to really marinate upon for a minute. I want to talk about something we all experience, change. You see, the funny thing about change is it is inevitable. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, or how much you try to avoid it. Change happens. Change will happen. In fact, one way or another, you're going to change, and that is a given. This is what I want you to go home with today. Why not change intentionally? Why not change by choice? Why not take the reins of your life? Why not seize control of the wheel? Why not steer yourself towards the kind of change that you actually want to experience? Why not? Why do you allow life to push you, to pull you, when you have the power to control the steering wheel? That is what we will talk about for a few short minutes. The power of intentional change. Let us get this clear, all right? Let me just say this one thing right from the start. Change does not ask you for permission, all right? Change doesn't ask for permission. You can fight it all you want. You can resist it all you want. You can pretend it is not happening, but change has its own timeline. And it will show up in your life whether you are ready or not. And think about it for a second. Just think about it. Look back at who you were 5 or 10 years ago. Are you the same person now? Biologically, are you the same? Psychologically, are you the same? Physically, mentally, spiritually, are you the same? In all your relationships, are you the same person? Are you living the same life? I think not. The answer is no. Something definitely has changed. You might think you're stagnant in quote, but something has changed. You are just not aware of it. You've been through changes that you never saw coming. Some were welcome changed, and some were probably a shock to your system. Either way, they came. And what happens? You adapted to the change. That is it. Life happens. Circumstances shift. People leave. New opportunities arise. New challenges come barreling down towards you. That is just the way life is. Even our bodies change without our input. Our cells regenerate, our hairs gray, our skin wrinkles with time. Here's what is interesting about all this. Despite knowing that change is constant, despite knowing that change is inevitable, many of us act as if we can somehow control the uncontrollable. We cling to our routines, to our jobs, to our relationships, to our habits that feel familiar. We hope that we can delay or avoid change. But by resisting, we are not... By resisting the change that is inevitable, we are only fooling ourselves. Change will find you. Even if you try to hide from it, change will find you. Here is where the shift happens. If you know that change is coming, why not get ahead of it? Why not get ahead of it? Why not embrace it? Why not shape that change before the change shapes you? There is a massive difference between passive change and intentional change. Passive change happens to you, whether you like it or not. It is when life throws something unexpected your way and you have no choice but to react to it. It is when circumstances shift and you are forced to adapt without any real input in the process. Passive change can feel like you're constantly playing defense, like you're at the mercy of external forces. And sure, sometimes life throws you some curveballs that we cannot predict. But too many of us live entirely in that reactive space. We let life dictate our direction instead of stepping into the driver's seat and drive. On the flip side, intentional change is when you choose You choose to direct the course of your own life. It is when you look at where you are and decide, I want something different or I want something more. It is when you choose growth, not because you are forced into it, but because you recognize the power that you have to evolve and to create the life that you truly want. Think about that for a second. Intentional change is like stepping out of the passenger seat of life and planting yourself firmly in the driver's seat. It's about being proactive. It's about choosing to level up before life demands it of you. So I ask you, are you living a life dictated by passive change, or are you choosing intentional change? Are you letting life happen to you, or are you happening to life? I can hear many of you saying that, Mike, I want to change, but it's hard. I don't even know where to start. Trust me, I get it. Change is hard. It is uncomfortable. It is uncertain. And it often feels risky, all right? And that is precisely why so many of us resist it, even when we know we need it. There are a few reasons why this happens. Number one is fear of the unknown. The unknown is scary. We don't know what is on the other side of change, so we stay where we are. Even where we are, even when where we are is uncomfortable or unfulfilling, we stay. It is like standing at the edge of a cliff, staring into the fog. You know there is something on the other side, but you cannot see it clearly, so you froze. You just freeze. You stop. That is what fear of the unknown can do, and that is why most of us don't change. Another thing is we are comfortable with the familiar. Even if our current situation is not really ideal, it is familiar. We know how to move through it. We know the routine. The comfort zone are where dreams go to die. But that's the problem with it. Growth never happens in comfort. Another thing is self-doubt. We doubt ourselves. Many of us resist intentional change because we don't believe we are capable of it. We doubt our abilities. We doubt our worthiness. We think, who am I to chase after that something more? Who am I to change my life when others seem to have it all figured out? Here's what I want you to go with. No one has it all figured out. No one. All right? The people who succeed are not the ones who are fearless. No, they are the ones who move in spite of their fears and doubt. And sometimes we get attached to our identity. Change forces us to confront what we think we are, or who we think we are, our identity. We get so attached to who we think we are, our jobs, our titles, our roles in the relationships, that the idea of changing can feel like you are losing a part of yourself. But what if I told you that the version of you that you are so attached to is just a starting point? There is a greater, more powerful version of you waiting on the other side of intentional change. That is what I bring to your table today. You have to intentionally change. How do you start? You recognize that change is your greatest tool. It is not something to be feared. It is something to be harnessed. Do you understand me? When you embrace intentional change, you unlock the power to shape your future. You get to decide who you become. You get to design a life that aligns with your values, with your desires. See, intentional change does not mean making one massive dramatic shift and expecting everything to be perfect overnight. No, it's about making small, consistent, deliberate changes that build momentum over time. So if you're listening to this right now and you are thinking about how much you want to change, whether it is your career, your health, your mindset, your relationships, you need to know that the most important change is the first change you encounter, is the first change you go out to do. And it doesn't have to be a big one. You can start small. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow. You move to a new city. You don't have to completely overhaul your life in one swoop. No, instead, focus on the small actions that align with the direction you want to go, all right? You want to change your health? Start by making small adjustments in your diet. You want to change your mindset? Start by shifting one negative thought a day into a positive one. You want to change your relationship? Start by having one honest conversation. These changes over time compound into massive result. Here's what I want you to take away from from today. Change is going to happen, whether you like it or not, but you have a choice, all right? You can change by default or you can change by design. When you change by default, you let life happen to you. When you change by design, you take control. You are proactive. You decide where you are going, who you're becoming, and the kind of life that you want to live. You are not waiting for life to push you into a corner. No, you step out and you make bold moves. Go today and change intention.